I am convinced that the South African government does not care about the South African people. They care more about these multinational corporations and their profits and their fans more than us. Bazeneng, the South African government is now considering a 50% tariff on cars that come from China and India. So, who came up with this idea? NUMSA. NUMSA and the South African government are saying that they want to protect local jobs in South Africa. And I dislike how they use such lingo that pulls our heartstrings. So remember, we have BMW, Mercedes, VW that are in South Africa where the cars are assembled. So people have jobs through that. But because of the Chinese cheaper and more affordable cars, these companies are losing profits because now South Africans have more access to buying cars at a more reasonable price. But South Africa and NUMSA is like, no, 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 no. This will mess up our investments. This will mess up jobs. But they do not care about the consumer in South Africa. Because yes, these cars are assembled here. But if BMW and Mercedes, VW is still not affordable for most South African people. So the South African consumer doesn't even benefit from it. Instead, they get cheap labor from us. 60 to 70% of the production that is made in South Africa is for Europe and Australia and them who even buy the cars cheaper than we do. So let me put this simply. VW or Mercedes example, they assemble the car here. So the parts come in, we see mod. Then the car goes to e.g. Europe. If in Europe the car is sold for R1 million, the South African person that is the one that put it together will buy it for about 1.1 to 1.2 million. Why, you ask? They say it's because the cars are priced at a global parity. This global parity is very convenient because when it comes to the triple P, which says that the South African rand should be trading at 7 rand to the dollar, it's ignored. But when it comes to cars, it's implemented. They also say it's because of the high local taxes and levies plus the 15% VAT, which is almost 100 to 200,000 more than the people that buy it from outside that still have to ship the cars to them in Europe and Australia. So the question is this really about the jobs, saving the jobs, or is it just about their relationships and saving their friends from these multinational corporations that they call investments, which they subsidize with our money, by the way? So the government really doesn't care about the economy because the food is high, food prices are high, the fuel levies are high, electricity is high, rent is high, everything is high. Now we get a breather and an access to being mobile in South Africa. And they are trying to take that away because remember, with tariffs, it's not the government or that the other country that pays for them. It's the consumer, meaning it's us. So instead of them negotiating with China and India, which should be easy because we're part of BRICS, all of us, that listen, since we are the gateway to Africa, South Africa, that is, why not then create jobs in South Africa and then use this as as leverage to entice China and India instead of threatening them. And we've seen how China reacts to such threats. They will find alternatives. South Africa will be pushed out of the global political sphere if we are not careful and if we allow the government to do this. And remember, when they start saying they are considering, they are testing us and our reaction. And if we don't react at all, they go ahead because they know it's something that we don't care about because they'll fill us up as fuqa ngezinye indaba abufutma and mouthy basifuqa ngeindaba engasile, and then they push all of these narratives which are a detriment of us, the South African consumers. They don't care about us. And they think we don't understand what's happening globally because we've seen about Mercedes, about BM, Tesla, their sales are down. They even shut down shops in and around South Africa because their cars are not affordable. Now they are trying to shrink us into buying their cars by making these deals with these people without thinking about us. Because we know, Uguti, if now these cars are as expensive as EPM, then you'll rather choose EPM because of the brand, right? Futhi kahle kahle mina I'm convinced these people are deteriorating the nation on purpose. They don't want us to have cars. They don't want us to have access to proper food. They don't want us to have proper health facilities, educational facilities, everything. Think of every market. Our railway is in tatters. Our infrastructure is in tatters. They are sabotaging South Africa intentionally. This is treason. This is treasonous.